as promised, I was going to hop on here and do a live with my friend Julie at Fashion Trends and Friends, and I think I see her coming in. So we have a couple other people joining us. This is going to be fun. I'm trying to wave to you guys. Okay, I got Julie coming in right now. Where? She should be here any second. Just be patient with us. You know technology, you guys. There she is.
Hey girl, look at you all sassy in your hat.
It's like, this is like my favorite hat because it's so out of the box for me that I'm like, okay, I'm turning into a hat lady. I'm not gonna lie. So this is
I love it. It looks awesome on you. I'm not a hat person, but I see people like you wearing them. It's like, I wish I was. It looks so good on you.
Thank you. Thanks. I wasn't always a hat lady, but this is what got me started. This one a couple years ago, and so I'm just kind of collecting. Anyways, awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you know, and share. And I want to just start with, first of all, a little disclaimer that neither one of us are healthcare professionals in any way. We're just simply here to share what we feel works best for us personally. And we realize at the end of the day, nothing is a one size fits all. And so we just thought we would share a little bit of our journey, each of us, and you know, just kind of what we do. And then maybe at the end, Julie, we can share like tips that are just kind of universal, you know?
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm just so glad to be here with you, and thanks everybody who's joining. We're trying to wave as quickly as possible to you all. We're so appreciative you're here. I'll go ahead and get started and just share a little bit about just kind of my story. So my story is I kind of was brought up in two households. My parents were divorced. So I had my mom on a farm who there was no sugar, no soda. You ate to nourish your body only. And then we had my dad and my stepmom. And my dad, I lost my dad to coronary artery disease, and I've lost my stepmom to diabetes. So, and their eating habits were distinctly different. So my dad was somebody who put butter on his pizza crust, and he ate birthday cake and ice cream every night after dinner. That was his thing. So
I'm sure many can relate.
Yes. So so that was kind of what was going on in his household. And the thing with my dad, and it was kind of hereditary for me, is you never knew that he was abusing food because he was tall and thin. I'm not tall, but I don't pack on the weight. A lot of people think it's a blessing. It was actually a curse for me. And I'll share why. And that's because when I was in my 50s, things were happening. Hormone issues, skin issues, brain fog, digestive issues, you know, sleep issues, all the things that I was attributing to being in my 50s. I just thought that's what happened.
Sure.
So, yeah. So after losing my best friend to brain cancer, I was 52. I decided to do Armand's 30 Days Healthy Living program, jumped on and did it. This is where I learned so much. I learned I was a sugar addict. And so you guys, while I ate healthy, my vegetables, my fruits, we didn't eat processed foods. I didn't have sugars, or I didn't have cookies and stuff. As a kid, as an adult, I became a sugar addict. So Jolly Ranchers, Fireballs, and Smarties. I'm not kidding, Julie. They were in every room of my house, in my pocket, in my purse, in my car, my gym bag, you name it. So if I was stressed, I would eat it. If I was happy, I would eat it. All the things. And so while I didn't gain weight from it, what was happening is because sugar is highly acidic, I was in a continual acidic state, which was causing all kinds of inflammation in my body. So those symptoms that I thought, okay, this is what happens. I'm in my 50s.
You get old. Yeah, you just fall apart, right?
Right. And so when I did our 30 Days Healthy Living program, which is basically, it's just a gentle reset, and we focus on eliminating, you know, addictive and inflammatory foods. We stay away from processed, we eat real whole food, and we use a few nutrient products to just support and nourish our body along the way during this process. So that's when I learned I had sugar. Wow. I mean, sugar had me wrapped around her finger. And also gluten. I didn't realize the pot belly I got from eating certain starchy foods and you know, foods with gluten. It was the gluten. So when we eliminate foods and then you reintroduce them one at a time, that's when I just learned, like, okay, Laura, sugar owns you, and there's enough in the world that owns me. I'm not gonna have my food own me. And then gluten, just I didn't like the digestive distress I was constantly in. So that was super helpful. And thankfully, my program helped me break up with sugar, because I'm pretty certain I would have been down the same road as my stepdad, if not my stepmom, even though she wasn't blood, because of the amount of sugar I was consuming. So that is what worked for me personally. And what's interesting, you all, is I'm going to turn this over to Julie. But when I heard what worked so well for Julie, both of our stuff is actually compatible, because people have done both and been very successful. So it was kind of fun. We're like, oh my gosh, like it's just great. So anyway, I am going to turn it over to you, because I feel like your story is really, I love your story. Actually, I feel like it just is a story of empowerment. And I would just go ahead and share away, girl.
Sure. Hop in, ask any questions.
Okay.
So my story is slightly different, right? Mostly growing up, I was pretty fit and in good shape. And as I got older, I got heavier. And it was 2018. I woke up one morning. It was like, I just can't do this anymore. This is the largest I've ever been in my entire life. So 2018, right? Not that many years ago. I'm in my mid 50s. And I have a rare autoimmune disease, which sadly, that it wasn't enough. I was diagnosed in 2013 to get me jump started to get on a better health path. But for whatever reason, I was ready to do something different. So I need to share that I'm always trying. I was always trying, no matter my age, no matter my weight, or so I thought. So I did a lot of different things, which in the moment kind of worked and then quit working. So again, like Laura, you brought up such a valid point. Like, this is our stories. Hopefully something we're going to share resonates with everyone, but you really have to find your own groove and what's going to work for you. So there was a time, so Weight Watchers is going to be my story in a minute, but I tried it in the past and always had success. Awesome. I just guess I wasn't in the right headspace to stick with it, right? And then I tried other things, right? Like I did paleo, keto, vegan, vegetarian, like I did all of it. It worked for a time. For me personally, those are too restrictive. Okay. So if you tell me I can't have the sugar, I want the sugar, you know, like, right? Weight Watchers, the beauty for me is Weight Watchers doesn't do that. You want to eat the sugar candy bar, you can have it. It's going to be an insane amount of points. So for me, what works so well with Weight Watchers is the new, I'm on the blue plan. They had a new lifestyle plan. I joined in January 2018. My initial thought, here was my stinking thinking, was, gosh, it'd be sure nice to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Like I didn't have any big goals and lofty goals in my head, right? And 51 pounds later, I just can't, I get chills even, like I can't even believe I did that myself, right? So I remember the first week I go to, so here's the other thing. I'm very much social. I need to go do the group thing. I need to be held accountable, right? That all feels good to me. I'm never embarrassed to say like I do Weight Watchers. And I'm actually proud to say like I did something and majorly changed my life in my mid to late 50s, right? So
there's no shame in our game.
Right, right.
Yeah.
My first week lost 7 pounds.
That's crazy.
And it was pretty easy. So I was like far out. Like my whole goal was to maybe lose 5 or 10. I just lost 7. So then I told my girlfriend, she's like, oh, I'm signing up. I told my aunt, I'm signing up. So then I created not only my network of people at the Weight Watcher Studios, which sadly those all kind of closed down during the pandemic, but we were doing it virtually, and I created my own little group of people. So in 8 months, following the plan, which I didn't think was that hard, there's a lot of strategies and things I had to employ to you know, keep me going. And it's still, I do those things still to this day. But I hit my BMI and lost 51 pounds. So yeah, God. In my mid 50s, like I still can't even believe I can say that out loud, right? What I loved about it for me is there's like over 200 foods that are no points. So it's on a point system, obviously. So here's me, the first meeting. So eggs are 0 and I love eggs. So I raise my hand and say like, how many eggs before they turn into points, right? And she's like, well, you're not going to sit down and eat a dozen. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. If I'm really hungry, I might, you know, and I never did. But, and then So there was enough foods. Like I was able to land on all the foods that are really healthy and good choices that I enjoy eating. I'm kind of not a foodie. I'm a one-track pony. I zero in on this works for me.
Yeah.
So I'll eat the same thing day in and day out for years, and I'm very unfazed by it.
But yet,
So,
what is unique about your program is if you are a foodie, you can still be successful. And the same with my program is I'm more similar to you, but if you are a foodie, either one of these programs, you could certainly be a foodie.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, so this isn't really an example of being a foodie, but I'm a movie popcorn freak. So you had your Smarties and your, so like I never throughout my whole journey gave up my movie popcorn. It's not the healthiest. I totally acknowledge that. I'm not eating it every week. I'm eating it once in a while, right? And I'm not just eating a little bit. Like my husband and I share the big bucket, right? So, and I always laugh because, you know, that's some people will say to me, well, you're not living. Yeah, I'm living great now, right? Like I'm still eating that popcorn, but I'm way happier, way healthier. It's much better for my body and for my autoimmune disease. So I did all that. So I'm never really proud of this, but I find it so interesting that my journey, I only followed the plan. I did not work out that whole time. I just couldn't juggle. It felt like a lot in my mind and whatever to juggle all of it. I started my fitness journey after I hit my goal weight and my BMI. And then I don't really like to work out. So, and so my goal became, I've got to keep trying things until I find something like, oh my God, I love this and I can hardly wait to do it again.
Right.
And then so I found my things that I adore and love, and I do them every week now. But then people were saying to me, are you losing more weight? Because I was toning, my body looked like I was getting smaller, but I really wasn't losing any more weight.
Isn't that awesome though? Because you were also probably gaining muscle. So that's why you didn't have the weight loss, but yet you looked even healthier.
Right.
And yeah, I love that.
It's crazy. And then your clothes just fit better. Well, it's funny because so it's a little freaky, right? In the Weight Watchers plan, you get lifetime if you go 6 weeks maintaining your weight, your BMI. And so when I got there, I'm like, far out. I'm great at packing on weight. I just proved I can lose it. I have no idea how to maintain it. So I feel like every step, right, was figuring it out. I love, Laura, you posted something about making it a balance of like 80-20. I think that's a great way to describe it. That really resonated with me. That I think that's how I've managed to keep it working and keep it going and turn it into a lifestyle for me. Yeah. So anyway, now
let me add real quick, just so for the people who don't know what the 80-20 is, like, so basically it's 80% of the time you're sticking to your program. I'm eating clean. 20% of the time we're kicking up our heels. We're having our movie popcorn. We're having champagne and chocolate cake. Yes. And then we know that we have the tools to come back to that have worked for us to get back on. I call it my clean eating horse. You're going to call it
back on my program.
Yes.
Or just do Weight Watchers, whatever.
Exactly. So for people who know, like, I don't believe in restrictive, like, we have to live. I mean, you can't go to a wedding and say, oh, sorry, I'm not going to be having wedding cake. It's not going to happen, you know? So, but yeah, so I didn't mean to interject, but just for those who didn't know. Yeah, so go ahead.
So now I feel like I figured it all out, right? So now I'm able to make it a lifestyle, though every day I kind of have to do pep talks with myself and remind myself, like, you think you want that because you have years of eating it and wanting it, but you really don't. You're going to feel like I talk myself all through it. You're going to be inflamed. Your fingers are going to be tight. Like, so, but it just gets much easier because it becomes more of a habit and a routine. And then regarding my fitness, I found things I love, but I continue to explore and try new things. So my mantra, my mantra just always is, right? You're never too old. It's never too late. And that's in every aspect of your life, right? So even though I found the things I love, Pound Fit, Palm Squad Fitness, aerial yoga, like I still want to go and try more fun things, right? Like you never know what's around the corner that might be really fun. So this year I want to try trapeze yoga. and see if I like that. So it's not on a trapeze line or anything, but you are harnessed and suspended. So it looks pretty cool. I want to try that. There's some kind of bungee.
You're so adventurous.
Well, which is really weird because I don't think I am, Laura, but
way more adventures than me. I don't know that I would try that. My hat is off to you. That is.
I would talk you into coming with me if we lived close to each other.
Then maybe I would go if you were there. Maybe I would go with you and do it with you. But you're so adventurous to go do it on your own, like.
And I was so that's a little that's out of my comfort zone. I pushed myself. So the gym my husband and I joined offered aerial yoga. So here's me like, I have to go look at the room. Am I too heavy? Will I even be like, what am I going to be able to get in the silk that you hang from? And then I'm like, and then I'm going to be the old lady in the group, right? Like I'm probably the oldest one in class. But, you know, once I got out of my own head and let it all go, it was fine. And I'm usually saying to myself, you're doing pretty darn good for an old broad, right? Like these young people, you know, they're struggling and I'm maybe even doing a little bit better than they are. So, and I do it pretty regularly because I enjoy it so much. But so I first got there, I'm also very motion sick. I was afraid it was going to be like, oh, I'm spinning and nauseous. And the first thing we had to do was like lift, you'll see my funny sack, lift our leg up and put it in the silk. And so like I was struggling a little bit to stand on one foot and get the other up in there. And then I started freaking out. And then it's like, this is ridiculous. You're going to just freak yourself out. Stop all this bad self-talk, right? I loved it once I got out of my way.
That's
and
amazing.
I've been doing it ever since.
I love it. I actually, I did yoga and just regular yoga in my youth. And in the last year, I got back involved in yoga. That seems to be, I feel I'm always so go, go, go that I need something to ground me. So that hour in yoga, I just, you know, so that's been my new thing. And same thing as you, like, I'm like, okay, you get in the class and you're like, okay, these young moms are a lot more limber than I am. And they can move their body and twist their body and up over, you know, and I'm like barely get. But at the end of the day, I feel like in doing it, I gained more flexibility. And I just feel like it's so much better for us. And so same type of thing. It's just, I'm not quite as adventurous as you. I'm more like, I find something, I don't know if you can see my Peloton. I love it. But again, that self-talk, because there are mornings, this is my office. So I sit here and I work. And then if I'm going to work out, it's right behind me. So I really have to say, get on your bike, Laura, move away from the desk and get on your bike. Like this is your priority. Make it happen. And I even always tell myself, like, I always say the word, can I say it? Badass. I always say like, I'm a badass.
You are a badass.
but I love it. But it's to get my mood, if you would.
Yeah, lift yourself up.
Yes. And to get that I need to get to go exercise. So yeah. So, okay. So shifting gears a little bit, give me some tips that you feel are universal and they don't really even matter, like what you're doing. What are a few tips? And then I'll share a couple.
So regarding healthy eating, for me, the tips are find those good healthy foods that you like. I don't cook or bake. I hate the kitchen. But my husband does. My husband does. And so, he and I meal plan. We do a lot of prep. I'm back to work on a regular basis, right? So, in regards to working out, when I could go to the gym, like I would bring my gym clothes, change at work and go straight to the gym and not come home. Because I knew once I get home, there's a lot of distractions and it's easy to go, I'm too tired, I don't want to go out. So I go straight there. I'm very much, if I make a commitment, I do it. So that helps with like my virtual fitness. Once I sign up and commit to doing that, I do so. Eating out, I know the places I can go, or I'll preview a menu before I go and I'll have a plan. Or if I'm going to a party and I'm not really sure what's all going to be there, I maybe will eat some things at home so I'm not going out hungry. And then I tend, if I keep myself satisfied, which is pretty easy to do, and eat healthy choices, it's easier to make good choices. If I let myself get really hungry, it could be bedlam, right? And I still do a lot of self-talk, like I'll be driving the car. I don't know what it is. My husband and I laugh like, why does Burger King smell good? I haven't eaten a Burger King in about a bazillion trillion years. but that charbroiled beef always does me in. And so, but I know, like, you think you want that, it smells
Yeah.
good, and then I do this whole self-talk thing. You're going to eat it, you're going to be crabby with yourself, that you know, so I just talk
Yeah.
myself down or
Yep.
off of my thoughts
Yep.
on you want to
Yeah.
eat this thing, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll make a plan, like, okay, this week I really want the movie popcorn, so I've
Right.
got to, you know, shift some other things in my week or my points to account for that. The one thing I did do, maybe different than some others doing the Weight Watchers, and why I did it pretty, I think, for my age, pretty quick in 8 months, was I didn't always use my fitness points,
Mm.
or activity points. You can gain extra points. I just stuck with the strict points in a day, and I didn't add on or subtract or whatever. So
That makes it a
I
little
would,
simpler. Seems a
yeah,
little simpler. Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
your
So
turn.
I know. So I was gonna say, well, first of all, like I loved how you talked about being prepared. So I have a food prep. I call it
Yep.
chop and chop day every week, but being prepared before you go out, I'm the same way. Okay, what is there gonna be there for me to eat? Um, and then I firmly believe we all have to move our body in some form every day. So whether it's taking a walk around your neighborhood, hopping on a Peloton, playing tennis, going for a hike, I just feel we have to have movement. Hydration is huge for me. I feel it's plain water is the best way to hydrate our bodies and get what we need. And then what else was I going to say? Move and gosh, just getting outside for fresh air. I think that that's important. You know, so many times we're stuck in our offices, and especially this last year, just getting out for fresh air and whatever it is in the fresh air that you do, just getting, you know, some sunshine and some fresh air. And at the end of the day, you know, we both do our self-talk, but I do feel that we have to give ourselves grace.
Yeah.
That we, you know, you can't, because women, we are our own worst critic, and we can beat ourselves up, and that's not good for anyone. It's not good for
Right.
us. It's not good for our family if we've just talked to ourselves that way. So giving ourselves grace, and kind of like how you and I talked about a few minutes ago with the 80-20 rule, knowing that, like you just said, you have to shift things around. You're giving yourself grace because you're going to have your movie popcorn,
Yep.
and knowing that it's a-okay, as long as we just don't keep eating our movie popcorn
Right. Right.
every day, all day, you know. So, and I think that when we're gentler to ourselves, then we are more
More inclined
willing.
to be, yep.
Yeah.
And more inclined, you're more inclined to be successful then, I
Correct.
think.
Yeah,
And
I
I think
agree.
it helps to have a network of people that are behind you and rallying. So as I was
Yeah.
attending my meetings, like I befriended quite a few of those people. I brought them with to my gym, like, come and try this class. It's amazing. You're going to love it. And then my girlfriends and my aunt and I would be texting each other, like, how's it going today? Or, you know, like, you got this, or, you know, like, hey, I found this great product, or, you know, whatever, this great meal. Look at this meal. It's like no points and it's delicious. And so Phil, like, so to have that exchange and
Fourth.
support with others, yeah, I think is really, really critical to your
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that. So when I first did our 30 days healthy living program, I did it with my husband. We actually did it at the same time. And I don't know that I think I would have quit, to be honest with you, because the first day, the sugar withdrawal, the struggle was real for me. I mean, real. And so, and he's like, okay, well, we need to sit down and have a cup of tea, you know, get through this moment. I mean, my poor daughter-in-law, actually, she did the program before me. And she literally was checked in with me. How are you doing? I'm like, oh my God, I want a damn cookie. Like, it was like I was going to go post on. So
Where are my where are my Jolly Ranchers?
yeah, yeah. So, and so to have his steady, you know, constant support, like, okay, we made our meals together. We talked about how we were feeling, and the good and the bad and the ugly. And so, like you, just that having that extra support was just so helpful. Because I just don't think that we, you know, we're human beings. We're meant to intermingle. So doing anything alone is really tough.
It is really tough.
Well,
And I think
anything,
sometimes people don't even realize, and they kind of inadvertently sabotage. Like,
yes,
so
yes.
my mom would describe herself as short and fluffy, and when and she is, and so when you're surrounded by that and, you know, certain ways of eating, a lot of times people don't understand it. She'd be like, so what's one, whatever, right? Like, oh, can you come over? My girlfriends are going to be here and I'm making this, that, and this. And I said, well, I'll come over and see your friends, but I'm not eating the this, that, and this, you know? Or I don't want all that stuff at the holidays. Like, let's talk about like how we can modify, like, so it's hard, like traditional foods for holidays, keep some of it, but like, let's modify the rest of it, right? Like, what's the one thing perhaps you want to keep that you're used to always eating, and then look for healthier options for all the rest.
I love it. I love it. All right.
And then find fitness activities that you love.
That's right. That's right.
These are two of mine.
I love it. I love it. Yes. And having a community that also does that as well is very supportive. I know, like with the Peloton, we have a whole Peloton community, and there's people that you friend and you're high-fiving on the screen in class and stuff like that. So yeah, this community support is so beneficial. Like I just love that. Well, Julie, I think this is amazing, and I loved hearing your journey, and I'm so glad you wanted to share. And, you know, especially the autoimmune disease, I think that's important because there's a lot of women, as we age, we start to deal with things, and it's real. It's real life, and we have to deal, and we have to learn how to accommodate our lifestyles to work around. And you have definitely worked around that and you're thriving in your life. And I love, that's when I follow you on social, is like, you're just thriving in your life. And I know the backstory, which not many people do.
Yeah, I don't always share it or talk about it, but you know, if anybody's on here that wants to know more, it's not that I don't want to share it. It's just I don't let it define me.
Right. Yes.
So as you're describing, thank you.
What about your blog?
So I have, I've written one blog on my autoimmune disease. So if you search on my blog for scleroderma, and I forget the exact title, but that should come up. So I share what it is, and it really interestingly affects mainly women over their 40s. So anyway, I share about it there. And if anyone wants to reach out, I'm happy to talk about it as well. I've been super blessed that I don't have an extreme case. I am in a support group of women that have it. And every time we get together, like, I think to myself, like, I'm really lucky. It could be so much worse. But anyway, I did do a blog about it. And I did do a blog about my weight loss and my fitness journey. And I continue to post about those just because I want other women to realize, like, any of this doesn't have to define us. I think I'm hitting 60 in July, and I think I'm in the best shape of my 40s, 50s, 30s, you know, like.
Amazing. That's amazing. Is the link to your blog in your bio?
Yeah. So if you go to the link tree in my bio, you will see the tab is just labeled blog. And then once you get there, there's a search bar up in the upper right-hand corner. You can just type in, or if you want, you can message me and I'll send you the link to read it, or read my weight loss journey, my fitness journey. I pretty much talked about all of those.
Awesome.
And some people say, like, oh, delete all your, you know, earlier stuff on IG. I don't delete anything. Like, you can go way down to the bottom when I was first starting, you know, with the selfie stick, and I was a big girl, right? And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of the journey I've been on, and hopefully encouraging others that age should never dictate, I don't know, anything, right?
Well,
and you're a great example of that, Laura. You always inspire and motivate me as well.
Thank you. And I just love that you claimed your health back in your 50s. So that's empowerment right there, guys. It doesn't, like Julie just said, your age does not define you. It doesn't dictate you. You know, anybody can claim their health back at any time. All right, you guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
I have to do a quick. I feel really bad. People are commenting, like one of my yoga teachers. That sadly, I haven't gotten to see her because of the gym closing. Just put "Love you, Julie." So, like, if people are commenting, I'm not seeing it. I'm so engaged with you, Laura. I don't want people to think like we were ignoring them, right? Like,
no.
We're just so into talking to each other.
Yeah, and you can always go to Julie and you can message her and ask her questions. You can message me and ask me questions. We're happy to help and just share what we do, what we found, what works best. All right, you guys, have an awesome Wednesday. Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, it was so much fun. All right, and also, friends, if you have something else you want Laura and I to chat about, drop us a comment. So we'll
Yeah.
come on in a few more weeks or something and talk some more. Although Laura's got a lot going on, but we'll figure something out.
Everybody has a lot going on. I'm not the only
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Uh,
All right,
Thanks.
Sassy girl. Hey,
Thanks,
before
Julie.
we go, did you get the boots?
Yes.
Did you
No,
get the boots?
well, okay. So I ordered them. I got them. They didn't fit my feet. They weren't, I was like, oh, yeah, it
Don't
just
you hate
wasn't.
when that happens?
Yeah, I was really bummed. It's like, but that's okay. That's all right. There's other things I can get. But yeah, I'm on a new hat quest now. So we'll see what comes up next. But anyways, thanks
You're
again,
rocking
everybody.
those hats.
Oh, thank you. All right, you guys take care. We'll talk soon. Bye, Julie.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.